Hi everyone, it's Rachel Russo presenting you with our Week 2 module on creating your own matchmaking service. We really hope you guys enjoyed Module 1 and definitely appreciate you all posting in our Facebook group. Your comments are great and we look forward to continuing to interact with you on a regular basis throughout the program. So keep your questions coming and definitely support each other in this group. Now, in creating your service, you must always keep in mind what it is that you're actually selling. So our next slide is going to help you realize that. Okay, in Module 1, I said that it's super important that you understand your value as a matchmaker. And I just want to stress that. You have to know the service that you're providing to your clients and just how valuable it is. Because you can be the best matchmaker ever, but if you can't sell yourself, then no one's going to know about you and you're going to have no business. You are selling yourself and you're selling a lot more than just a match. I've listed 10 things that are services you're providing to your clients. And I want you to understand how valuable they are from a singles perspective. So I'm going to talk as if I were a single and I'm getting these benefits from a matchmaker. Number 1, convenience. I am just so sick of dating and I don't want to go and waste my time anymore going to these bars and not meeting anyone, and it's just a waste of energy and makeup, and I can't even think though about doing online dating because I'm just so busy at work. The last thing I want to do is sit in front of a computer and answer more emails. Just shoot me now. I wish I had someone who would just give me a match. I know what to do once I'm on the date, I think. I want the match. You guys are providing that convenience to your clients. You are literally going to just call them and email them and say, I have this great guy for you, and here he is, here's what he does for work, here's what he does for fun. I think you two will be really compatible. Do you want to meet him? And as that single girl, all she has to do is say yes. Chances are she's going to accept the match because she trusts you. She knows that you screened this guy just for her, and she knows that he's a decent person, and I mean, you probably wouldn't have him in your database if he was like a serial killer or something. You know, these are the things that women think. So understand that you're providing a very convenient service where they feel that they have a true shot at meeting a decent person who could be their match, as opposed to going out randomly and meeting all the crazies. Number 2, expert support. I thought I knew how to date, but I've been going on all these dates and people that I'm meeting, these guys are talking about their exes and they're asking me questions like, how did I know that I was over my ex, and you know, when did it end, and do we share our child support and custody, and how does it work? And I just don't want to talk about these things on dates. I don't even know what I should be saying about this or not. I wish I had like an expert because my mom doesn't get it. She's been married 35 years, so she's out of the dating game. And my friends are all in relationships, and their advice is not exactly objective. That's where you guys come in. You're providing the expert support, objective advice to your clients, and you're going to help them feel more confident that they're doing the right things, that they're following the dating do's and not making dating mistakes. Number 3, hope. I am so frustrated with dating that I just think I'm going to live alone and have cats, and I'm just going to be single forever. I'll just have to accept it that this is my fate. And that's exactly how some of these clients feel before they become your clients. They've given up on dating. They feel like they tried everything, and they really just need someone to give them a shot of courage and show them that there's a better way. And you will show them, number 4, a better dating experience because they're just sick of going on bad dates. So you're going to help things move along by getting in between the process in a sense. You're going to sometimes be setting up the dates for them. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But you're definitely curating their dating experience and providing them with introductions to people who they can actually have relationships with. And these people are coming to you because they want relationships. They want romance. They are in love with love, a lot of them, just as much as you are. Or they wouldn't be going to a matchmaker. They really want to do everything that they could to find that romantic love. And a lot of them, unfortunately, because they haven't been in relationships, have not had a sexual relationship for a while, and that's a benefit that you're providing them as well. You're giving them the chance to have sex and intimacy in the context of a relationship. And a lot of them are looking for marriage. They're marriage-minded, and they're hoping that you will find them the partner that could be for life. They want their happily ever after, and for a lot of these singles, it includes family. They want to have children, and for the women, you're really selling hope to a lot of them that they can still have a family. And sometimes that means conceiving naturally. For the most part, they want to have children on their own during their childbearing years. So if they're a little out of those childbearing years, they might have lost hope. They might have thought that they need to do in vitro fertilization or that they need to adopt. But if you can find them someone soon enough who's suitable for marriage, then maybe they think they have a shot at natural childbirth. Or maybe they will decide, with a partner, I would love to adopt. Either way, you're providing them with the ability to fulfill their dreams. And all of these benefits on here, these 10 things, are so valuable. There's so many more benefits and services that you are providing, and you can continue to write those down throughout your process of becoming a matchmaker and even after you've developed your business. And you're going to be refining your sales pitch as you go along, and you're going to be talking about people, about all the things that you do for your clients. So keep that all in mind, and if you could think of any more services that you're going to be providing at this time, feel free to write them in our Facebook group as well and share them with everyone else. All right, let's clarify. What exactly is your role as a matchmaker? You have to know this if you're going to service your clients well. And the first thing I'd like you to do is remember this forever. You are not their therapist. You're going to wear many hats, but you are not there to provide them with psychiatric help. So this cartoon is a joke. And if you have a background in therapy like I do and Lisa does, it may be tempting to get in that role where you're really working with them on a deeper level, but that is not your role, and it will be counterproductive to your business and to them if you focus too much on letting them vent and talk about their problems. That's not what you want to do. You want to keep things positive. You want to be their cheerleader. Now, inevitably, along the way, there's going to be ups and downs. Even though they're working with you as a matchmaker, it's not necessarily going to be perfect, magic, yay. It's still going to be hard for them. They still might make some dating mistakes. They might not like the first couple matches you give them. You want to stress to your clients that it's really a process and that they have to go through some dates and give you feedback and manage their expectations that it might not work out right away, but always, always have a positive spin, always be uplifting, and take their criticism if they give it to you with a grain of salt, but always be professional and show them that the client is going to get great service. That, in a sense, the client is right until the client is wrong. And that's where the dating and relationship coaching piece comes in. Even if you are not formally offering dating and relationship coaching services, you will be giving this service to your clients. And sometimes that may mean gently telling them when they've made a mistake in dating. And this is what they're paying you for too, because they're getting such valuable feedback from you that they would not have on their own. And if you hear negative feedback from their dates, you have to find a way to tell them if it's repetitive negative feedback, because it will only hurt them if they don't know what they're doing wrong. So you're going to be prepared to answer questions that your clients have. And these questions can be anything from what to wear on a date to should they text their date after if they had a good time, or does that make them look desperate, to anything that you can think of and everything. So one part of your job is answering all those dating and relationship coaching questions, And the other is to honestly look at the feedback and ask yourself if there's something you need to tell your client and how you can coach them to be better on the dates. You're also kind of their friend. Now, you don't want to cross boundaries here. You're not going to be hanging out with your clients all the time, and you really shouldn't reveal too much about your personal life because it could come and bite you in the butt. So you're their friend. They're your friend, but you're more of their friend than they're your friend. Does that make sense? I think that you want to always keep in mind that at the end of the day, this is a business and you're not besties and they're paying you and it can all backfire if you don't do a good job. But in the sense that you have a friendship, that's a good thing because it shows them that you genuinely care about them and you want them to find the match, and you treat them well like you would treat a friend, and you make them feel welcome and comfortable, and the whole process will go a lot smoother. They need to feel that you're also their confidant, that you can keep things confidential, and that they can tell you anything that they need to about this dating process. They need to know that it's not going to get back to the person they went on the date with. So if they tell you, I'll give you this feedback, but please don't tell the other person. I don't want to hurt his feelings. Then you really can't say anything. Because then if they find out you did, they're not going to trust you. That relationship, that bond, that trust is really important for a client to have with a matchmaker. Lastly, you are their concierge. You know everything about dating in your city and you know all the cool spots. And if you don't know them, you better find them out. Do a little Google research, get on Yelp, whatever you have to do, read reviews, because they're definitely going to ask you where they should take someone on a date. And they're going to ask your suggestions for a second date and a third date, where can they go to have a drink, all of this stuff that you might think you don't have to do as a matchmaker, you kind of do have to do it. It's of the added value to your clients. You may even want to consider setting up the dates for them. I know that Lisa's company, VIP Life, does do that, and it makes a world of difference. Because what happens is, when people set up dates on their own, and they talk before too much about it, things kind of go wrong. So you might want to be the type of matchmaker like Lisa's company that actually controls and curates the process so that really all they have to do is show up. You can be the matchmaker that finds out their two locations, where they work, where they live, and finds out what is halfway in between them, what would be comfortable, what would meet their dietary preferences and their vibe and their personality, and what's a good spot for dates. And if you can provide that, that takes another burden off their shoulders, and it makes the dating process seamless. From the moment they get the match till they're on the date, they will have a lot less anxiety and they'll feel like they're taking care of everything. So your role is huge. A lot that you need to do for these clients. And if you do it well, they will be happy with you. Of course, they ultimately want to meet their match, but if you show them love and you're their cheerleader and you're their friend and you're arranging all these dates, they're not going to be the type of clients that are going to get mad at you and demand a refund and want their money back, because they're going to see how important of a role you played in their love life. And that's what matters. Okay, so your matchmaking services. You have to create a menu of these offerings, and you have to get to the point where it's like second nature for you to be able to rattle off what you do and describe exactly how you do it. In the beginning, you might want to write this stuff out, and this is what you'll put on your website to describe what you do. So you're going to learn it over time. For now, I'll explain everything so you understand exactly what it involves, and this will help you think about the kind of services you want to offer. Everyone does an initial consultation. It's how you start out. For a lot of you, when you are just beginning your business, you will offer this for free. And some matchmakers continue to offer free consultations throughout their entire career. That's something you may choose to do if you want to get more people into your database, or you may want to charge. It's okay to charge. It's also okay to credit the consultation fee toward their membership. And that would just be like, say you charge $100 or $150 for the consultation. So if they join with you, you will put that money toward their membership, and they pay less when their whole balance is due. These consultations could be done in person, or they can also be done on the phone or Skype. It just depends on what you're comfortable with. You don't have to have an office to do consultations. You don't actually ever have to have an office. And we will talk more about that later, but I would love for you guys to know that this doesn't have to stop you from getting started. You can absolutely just meet people in coffee shops. You can meet them in hotel lobbies. Some matchmakers do that after even 20 years in business. It's such a personalized business that a client may feel more comfortable meeting you in an informal setting. So use your judgment as to what the client would prefer, what you're comfortable with, and what would make for the best meeting. If you're working with clients who are out of town, out of state, even out of the country, you might have to do those phone consultations or Skype consultations. And people are happy to do that. A lot of them like to meet you face-to-face, especially if they are wealthy clients. They may want to fly you out or have you fly them out. Well, they would be paying for the flight. Either way, make sure they're covering the expense. But do what works best for the client. And in this consultation, you should be collecting as much information about them as you possibly can, because this is really a sales meeting. You have to know how you can close them. And we're going to get into all of that later in the course, but just know that this is the meeting where you're asking all those important questions, and you're also getting to know their criteria and assessing whether or not you have enough people in your database for this particular prospective client. Secondly, you have the matchmaking interview. And now this is what happens after they actually become a client. This is when you meet with them, again, either in your office or at another location, and you sit down face-to-face or on Skype, and you do the matchmaking interview. You ask them everything that you will need in order to make matches. A lot of times people like to have a form to fill out. So as a matchmaker, maybe you have that form on your website. Maybe you email it to them as an attachment. Whatever the case may be, it would be great if they come to the matchmaking interview having some preparation so that they can answer your questions, that you can review this application before you even really begin. Now, some clients don't want to do that if they're really busy executives. You may send them like this 15-page application, but they're not going to fill it out, and they just want to talk to you and have you take notes. That's okay too. Sometimes the men don't want to do it. If you make the application shorter, they'll be more likely to do it. A lot of times it's also helpful to have them come to the matchmaking interview with a few photos of themselves or photos of exes, even people that they dated, so that you can get a picture of who their type is. You're going to be asking them a lot about their relationship history and their match criteria in this matchmaking interview. Of course, I mean, that's a huge focus of it. And also, though, you have to get to know them. Like, this should be the meeting where you really get a sense of who they are and who they would like to meet based on everything that you know about them, like their hobbies, their interests, their upbringing, their parents' relationship even, the places that they lived, what they do for work, their personality characteristics. You'll want to ask them things about their quirks and their habits and their lifestyle and how their friends describe them. This is a really in-depth meeting. It could be 2 hours. It could be a little less, of course. It just all depends on how easy it is to extract this information from your clients. After this matchmaking interview, you should be confident that you can write a solid profile on them. This profile write-up may be something that you send out to their potential matches, or it's just something for you that you use to pitch them to the matches. And it should be something that is discreet. You don't want to put their personal details in it. You just want to give a general sense of who they are. People these days use the internet and they look up everything. So say you wrote that someone went to the University of California and he's a doctor and he has a unique name. Well, they can take to Google and somehow find out, maybe find a LinkedIn profile of someone in that location in California and find out exactly who he is. Your job is to maintain privacy, so make sure your profile write-ups are doing that for your clients. And make sure they're really selling your clients. You have to make your clients sound like they're the most amazing person and the match just has to meet them and they're perfect. Sometimes that takes creative editing, And I don't mean to sound like this would be manipulative, but you may want to leave out a detail or add a detail, or if you lie about their height by like 1 inch, it's not the worst thing in the world, but don't do anything beyond that. The profile is supposed to accurately represent who the client is. That is what they're paying you for, to get who they say that they're meeting and all of that. But you do want to sell the person, so portray them in the most favorable light. You are their publicist. Make sure the profile shows them for who they are and really sells them. So you have to also critique the photos that they submit to you. And if the photos aren't good, if the photos are not capturing them in a way that is going to be appealing to the matches, you'll know it, and you'll have to make a referral. You can refer them to an image consultant to work a little bit on their style, maybe their body language, the way that they're posing, the way that they're coming across. It can just be changed within a session or two. Maybe it's a matter of a stylist picking out colors that complement them and their skin tone more. Or maybe they need to style their hair differently. You can take care of that in a session with an image consultant. You may want to send them to a photographer that you work with. There are a lot of photographers that actually specialize in photos for online dating and for matchmakers. They can do some nice headshots, and you can actually work out a deal with the photographers. If you refer them clients, maybe they'll give your clients a discount. It can be an added service that you just provide these referrals to people, and they really appreciate that. They're looking for you to help them throughout the entire process, and people get really nervous and anxious about photos and things like that, so they're happy to consider your photographer. Next, we have face-to-face introductions. This is like the meat and the bread and butter of your matchmaking service. This is what they really want. This is what they're coming to you for. And you're going to provide them either with a number of face-to-face introductions that you state in your contract, or you're going to provide them with unlimited introductions, if that's the agreement. And these are going to be people that you have met face-to-face and screened specifically for them. And an introduction is an introduction when they actually go on a date. So if someone talks on the phone to a potential match, but it doesn't go well and it's awkward and they don't want to meet, well, you're probably not going to count that as an introduction. It's probably not fair. But at the same time, if they're doing this constantly over and over and over, then there's something wrong that's happening on these phone calls. There's something awkward. There's something where they need the coaching. And you can't just keep doing all the work on the introductions if they're going to blow it with the coaching. So maybe you want to put something like that in your contract about what counts as an introduction, or how many chances they have to not meet someone before it's going to start to count. Lastly, the super important service we mentioned was date feedback. And this is when you are going to get all the details of how the date went, what they thought of the match, what they liked about the match, what they didn't like, would they go out with the person again, how could the match be better for them, how could they be more compatible, why weren't they compatible. All of these questions are questions that you will ask your clients, and you may want to consider creating a feedback form. Definitely get written feedback, and you have to do that so you don't get sued. But you also want to talk to your clients personally and speak with them over the phone or speak with them in person and understand how the date went for them and what they would like to see done differently next time if it wasn't a match. If it was a match, that's great, that's amazing. Now's the time to be the cheerleader and set up a successful date number 2 for your client. That concludes the services that you have to offer as a matchmaker. You really do. And next we will be talking about add-on services that are optional that you could add as a matchmaker. It would be great if you could be like a one-stop shop for all of the needs of their love life. Your clients would so appreciate if they can get their additional services from you because they already trust you and know you, and they don't have to work with another professional. So if you can find a way to offer some of these services, it would really create more value for your business, and it would be other ways that you can bring in revenue when business is slow. And it's also a way to have clients, like repeat clients, coming back to you. They might start off with some online dating consulting. That doesn't work. then they hire you as a matchmaker. If that unfortunately isn't working either, they may hire you more for dating and relationship coaching. So one service kind of feeds another. It's all relevant. Starting with that dating and relationship coaching. That is something that you can actually get certified in if you want to add on that skill, but it's also something that you're going to develop expertise in without a certification. Some of this stuff will come naturally to you, and you will learn more and more and just kind of become an expert as you work with so many singles. Some of you have a background in social work or life coaching already, or you may be even doing some dating coaching. So chances are you have a lot of the skills that you need, and if you don't, you can quickly pick them up throughout your practice, and you can make an effort to get more education with the dating and relationship coaching later on in the game. You can read books, you can apply general life coaching skills, and some of the stuff comes naturally, as I said. So if you're not feeling super strong here, you don't have to add this on right away, but it's something you may want to consider later in the game. We talked about image consulting, referring someone out. But if you are actually pretty talented yourself in image coaching or image consulting, you can do this. You can offer style tips to your clients about what to wear on the dates. You can make suggestions about color or products that they can use, or just even their body language. There's a lot that you'll pick up on as a matchmaker. So if you feel that you have these skills, then maybe consider image consulting as an add-on. The third one is called a mock date, and this is something that's really very valuable. I've done this with a lot of my clients. I offer mostly all of these services in my own dating and relationship coaching business. And one thing that my clients really, really love is a mock date. And I actually go on dates with the men, and for the women, I hire male dating coaches that I've become friends with to go on dates with the women. And a mock date can be something that's just an hour, maybe meet for a drink, or it can be a 2-hour meal or more. And on the mock date, the person knows it's a mock date, but they try to act in a way that they would naturally on a date. So assure your client not to be nervous and just be themselves. And yes, they are getting critiqued, but it's going to happen later. So when you're on the date, as their dating coach, you are making mental notes, and sometimes maybe you're going to the bathroom and writing this stuff down in your phone. You're making mental notes on everything from their date etiquette to what they are talking about, to their body language, to their manners, to how you feel on the date, to their presentation, their appearance. And later on, you're going to coach them, or you're going to provide them with a written report of the date. And you're going to tell them exactly what you thought they did wrong on the date, and what they did right too. And they're going to have this experience where they're going to get feedback in real time from a professional, and they're going to know how they come across and use that feedback to help them. So this is something that matchmakers that are in relationships might not want to do themselves. It may feel weird if you're married going out on a mock date, or maybe it doesn't at all. If it does, consider hiring other dating coaches as a part of your team and offering this as an add-on service. Next, we have online dating consulting. And online dating consulting is something to offer. You may think that a lot of your clients are just done with online dating, and you're right about that. A lot of them are, but there are some that are really, really serious that are going to want to increase their chances of finding that match. So they're going to be using a 2- or 3-tiered approach. In fact, some clients are even going to hire 2 matchmakers, and you're going to be one of them. But a lot of them will be on the online dating first before they hire 2 matchmakers. So you would consult with them about what websites to use or not to use, how to create their profile on that site, what feedback you would give them on the pictures, and also you consult with who they should match up with on these sites. You can do matchmaking within the online dating sites, and that's very valuable because your clients don't want to waste that time screening through all the profiles. So you read the profiles for them, and you pick the people who would be good, and maybe you send them a list of everyone that you think would be an appropriate match. Then they just look through the list, and they decide who they want to contact. Now, you can take it a step further, and some people don't like this and they think it's unethical, but some people love it. This is online dating ghostwriting. Again, to share a little personal story with you, I've had a lot of success with this. I actually started out my online dating consulting portion of my business because of the ghostwriting. I feel like I owe a lot of my life to Craigslist. That's how I had got started in the industry. I also came across an ad on Craigslist for a lawyer who was so super busy and he wanted to do online dating, but he didn't have the time to actually write the messages. He also didn't really know what to say in the messages. He wasn't very creative. He would write things like, "I like your profile, would you want to meet me for a drink?" And of course, any smart and savvy woman who's been on more than a online dating site or two knows that this is a generic message and the guy probably copied and pasted it and sent it to a million other women. So needless to say, this lawyer was smart enough to realize he needed some professional help. So he hired me. When I replied to his ad, he had hired me to do the ghostwriting for him. And that was about 6 years ago. And I immediately got him into a relationship with his now wife. And they've been married 6 years. They have 2 kids. And it's all because I literally wrote messages for him that he couldn't write himself. And I only write a message of introduction, so one time. And anyone who objects and thinks it's unethical, I always tell them that I sort of consider it like a person that is helping someone to get a job. People hire resume writers, they hire people to write the cover letter. So this cover letter is equivalent to my message of introduction on an online dating site. So if you have any writing ability and you've experienced online dating yourself, or you would like to consult with your clients in this way, you may want to consider ghostwriting, because it is a service that benefits many, especially men who are not so verbal and able to convey and articulate their thoughts online. And I hate to stereotype. I don't mean to say that men are not verbal, but women use more words than men. It's just a proven fact. And they can be more creative with what they say on the online dating sites. It's just, I've seen it so many times throughout the years. So trust me on this one. The men especially can use help with the ghostwriting. But you can work for men or women. Next, we have wing woman services. And this is a lot of fun if you like to go out and about. If you want to just stay at home and relax and you're just over that, then this is not for you. You should have some element of being social, though, or it's going to be hard to really grow your database. Now, that is unless you hire recruiters. So if you're not the one that's going to be doing the socializing, you better get a team of young girls who like to go out, and they can actually recruit for you. They can also act as a wing woman for your clients if you don't want to do it. Or maybe you all go out as a group. Being a wing woman means that you're going to accompany your clients to bars or parties or events, and you're going to help them to get into conversations with people that they would find interesting. And they will really be very appreciative, again, of this service, because a lot of them don't have friends that are single anymore that can go out with them. So they're looking for a wing woman to help them meet people. It's also beneficial to the clients because you get to know their type a bit more. You get to see the people that they find attractive. You also get a good sense of their social and interpersonal skills. You see if they're able to recognize body language. For instance, do they want to approach the girl who's texting away on her phone, or do they know that she's not ideal? Will they go up to the girl who's alone, or will they go up to the girl who's surrounded by a pack of friends? And when they do go up to her, are they painfully shy and awkward? Are they using like corny ice-breaking type lines? Or do they just introduce themselves and know what to say? As a wing woman, you're out and about with them helping facilitate the conversation, but you're also coaching them a bit, and you're guiding them about who to approach and how to approach them. That's a service that a lot of people like. Lastly, you may want to add on singles events and mixers to your menu of services. People love the idea of mixers. Everyone watched The Millionaire Matchmaker and saw those mixers Patty had for her clients, and sometimes people ask for that. Sometimes they're way too shy to do that, but maybe they would want to go to a singles event if you had one where they can meet other singles. So that's something that you may want to consider as an add-on service as well. All of these services, again, will help grow your business, so be open-minded. You may not feel comfortable with all of them, but you can seek out people who would help you to carry out these services if you don't feel that they're your strength. Frequently asked questions. Matchmakers are often asked the same questions over and over and over. It will be fun for you to eventually find different ways to answer them. In the beginning, though, you want to have an answer that is mentally prepared. Whether you are meeting with a prospective client or you are out and about and people are just curious and asking you what you do, you have to be able to answer these questions confidently. Remember, you only get one chance to make a first impression. If you know these answers, you will increase that chance of making a good one. You can all read through these questions at your leisure, but I wanted to say a few words about them. Since they are so common and I have answers that have worked for me, I figured I would share with you. Do you charge both men and women? People always want to know that, and sometimes they don't like when one party is not paying. They might not think it's fair, but it's your job to teach them that there's actually a benefit for them when one party isn't paying. And that benefit is that you are not restricted to only matching within your database. So the whole world is your database when you're not charging everyone. And show them that you can really focus on finding the best match for them, and that money does not have to get in the way of someone who may want to join your service but can't afford it, or just doesn't want to pay. Do you do background checks? Well, some of you may, but after this course you probably won't because we're going to tell you about why you shouldn't do background checks a little later on. But in the meantime, people want to feel secure that they're getting an introduction to someone who's been screened. You want to stress that, but you also want to stress that it is their responsibility to exercise caution just as they would with a stranger. And if it's important for them to have a background check, they can do their homework. They can go on Google. They can use a background check service like Instant Checkmate or something and find out on their own. How do you get clients? You will answer that and tell them all the ways that you get your new clients. One thing people love to hear would be that you get referrals from other satisfied clients. So as you build your business, hopefully you will have that. You won't be lying to them because word of mouth will be happening for you and the good news will spread. How do you recruit people for your clients? You will answer that as well. Maybe you have a team of recruiters that go out. You want to stress that you have a whole team of people that will search specifically for them. What kind of guys or girls go to a matchmaker? Well, for a lot of you, it will be upscale professionals, but for everyone, you want to stress that your clients are, keyword, relationship-oriented. You can also add in marriage-oriented and family-oriented because they are, and that's what people want to hear. How do you make your matches? They're asking you about the process, and you want to stress the importance of the human touch and your intuition, and the fact that you meet people face-to-face and you get a sense of their personality and you know who is good or isn't good for each other using your judgment and your understanding of compatibility and human nature. You will tell them that a lot of the match criteria does take care of itself. I always say that, people are very specific about what they want in terms of age range or religion or geographic location or height. So once you screen for all of those things and make sure that criteria is taken care of, then you look at your database or your recruits and you think about who would actually like each other, who would love each other, who would hate each other, and you make those matches based on your gut and your understanding of their lifestyle and their personality and what their goals are for the future. Is this like Match.com or an online site? No. You have the human touch. Again, you need to stress that there's no algorithm that's making these matches, that it's you, and you want to stress the benefits. It would be really, really beneficial for you guys to understand the process of online dating and to see these sites so that you can communicate to people how you are different and how you're better, most of all. What is the cost? Now, this is a question you do not want to answer directly. You don't want to just put your prices out there to anyone and everyone and until they understand really what the service is that you're offering. So you want to stress that you offer personalized packages, that you work with people to meet their needs and preferences and budget. And you may end up charging people different prices, but your future clients don't really want to know that, and you don't have to tell them. But you can just tell them that the cost depends on their level of pickiness, how selective they are. It may be harder for you to find their match, then it would obviously be more money. Or It may be that they have criteria that's unreasonable, that may be more money, or maybe you have to expand your search to find the kind of people, and that would take more resources. So the cost is dependent on a lot of things, also how desirable they are to the type of person that they want to meet. In other words, if they are 55 years old and they want to date a 25-year-old, it would be a little more challenging than if they wanted to date late 30s or 40s. So cost is something that has to be explored, and you can always tell prospective clients that you need to understand them and their criteria better before you can give them an accurate quote. Next question, how many clients do you work with at a time? People like to hear boutique matchmaking, and they just want to know that they're getting personalized service. So don't act as if you are a factory that's cranking out hundreds of matches. Personalized is the way to go. What is your success rate? This is another question that gets new matchmakers very shaken up because they don't have a success rate yet. And don't think that people are not going to hire you because you're not experienced. You need to answer this question confidently. You need to tell them that yes, you are new, but you've had successes. I've always told people that I've gotten people married, I've gotten people in relationships, but that I don't do longitudinal studies. And so I can't measure success. And people define success differently. Maybe it's not just about the number of marriages. Maybe it's people that are happy, that dated for some time. Maybe it's people that got out of their comfort zone and were open to a new match. And even if it didn't work out, they still consider it a success because they changed their criteria and they're more ready for love. So you want to answer honestly. You don't want to lie about the number of marriages, but you want to show your motivation and tell them that you've helped many people and you're continuing to help people, but you don't necessarily have an exact success rate. Are you like that millionaire matchmaker? Well, we're referring to Patty Stanger again here, and I guarantee that whether the show is on or off, people will know about it and ask you this question, and you can tell them the ways that you are and the ways that you are not, like Patty Stanger. Lastly, are you married? And how can you match me if you are single? This is like the worst question. People dread this, but you got to put a positive spin on it. If you are married, it's wonderful because you understand what it's like to be married and you know how hard it was at times to find a marriage partner, and you succeeded. You found them, and now that you're an example and a model for these clients. If you are not married, you still have value. Maybe you were divorced, so that's another benefit because you can relate to your clients who have gone through a divorce. You know what it's like to date again, to be in it the second time around. If you're single and never been married, this might be the most challenging. But I have been single and never married and been a matchmaker. I'm still single and never married at this point. And it does not limit me. It never made anyone not come to me because I was single. I simply explain that I have been in long-term relationships, up to 6 years even, and at this time I don't have a partner. Single is not a weakness, and if you convey confidence and are okay with the fact that you're single, that is just fine. Your clients want to hear how you can help them, so you have to tell them that you've used your experience as a single to better tailor the dating process and your matchmaking services because you understand how hard it is and you know what works and doesn't work in dating. And you're not God or you're not a magician and you can't magically deliver your own match, but you could deliver their match when you understand them. So don't get tripped up by that question or any of these frequently asked questions. Once you have been answering these for a while, they are just going to come out of your mouth like beautiful music and it will just be fine. So there'll be some more frequently asked questions for sure, but these are the main ones that I've gotten throughout 10 years of my career in matchmaking. Hopefully that helped you. Now that I've prepared you with the answers to frequently asked questions, I would like to further prepare you by encouraging you to reflect on yourself, on your own strengths and your own weaknesses for creating a matchmaking business. Remember, you are only as strong as your weakest link. This is so true and so powerful. A lot of people, when they're doing something new, when they're trying to solve a problem, they focus on the strengths and the things that they're already good at. that's because they're good at them and they're fun and it's easier, but it would actually be more beneficial to focus on the weaknesses because that is the area that needs the most improvement. So you have to recognize what you're good at and keep doing that, but mostly spend your time on improving the weaknesses if you really want to create a successful business. And this is for anything in life, by the way. Now, I encourage you to get a journal out and to start journaling after you have read through this module and you have an understanding of the kind of skills that you need and the role that you play as a matchmaker. Well, that's fresh in your mind. Make a list. Write down those things that are your strengths. Write down your weaknesses. You really should be self-aware. This can be challenging to objectively kind of judge yourself here, but if it is, try your best and consider asking your friends and family members and people that know you on a personal and professional level. Anyone who supported you, who knows that you're doing this matchmaking business and understands what you want to do and what it's about, should be able to give you their insight on what would help you in developing this business and if there's anything that would hurt you and get in the way. They would really know, if you prompt them correctly enough, what it is that can help you and what should be changed. So talk to your friends and family, your spouses, see what they say, and get to work yourself with the journal and find out what you need to work on. You'll be happy you did. The perfect time to give you a homework assignment. You've all done great with the last homework assignment, and I think it's wonderful to be able to see what other people are saying here. This next question is more personal than the last, but please answer it honestly in the Facebook group. Okay, here's the question. Which of the matchmaking services mentioned are you most excited about providing? The next question. What strengths do you have that will help you perform these services? And lastly, are there any weaknesses that you must first overcome? These are the 3 questions that I'd love for you to answer in that Facebook group, and seriously think about them. They will really help you to shape and create your matchmaking service. This concludes our week 2 module. It's been fun. I would love to hear from you guys if you have any questions, so you can please contact me at rachel@matchmakinginstitute.com if you have any personal questions. Otherwise, I will continue to comment on your homework assignments in the Facebook group. We look forward to hearing from you on our next live Q&A and sending you Module 3. Have a good one, everyone.